Hi Aries, welcome to your March, can you believe it? AstroTarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. So, quick note, these are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign, but if you're only going to watch one, please make sure it's your ascendant. It's going to be the most accurate for you on the day-to-day level. Remember, these are, whenever I'm talking about astrology, I'm talking about your I'm using whole sign tropical Western astrology for those of you that would like to know. With that said, I would like to bless my decks of cards and the session itself with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So those will be for the bulk of your transits, and these will be for your lunations. So the first transit that I want to explore for you is that Venus, the planet of love, harmony, diplomacy, money, well, really more about luxury and pleasure and joy and romance, talents and skills, is also the realm of Venus. Now, Venus for you in your chart literally rules money or rules finances because it rules your second house, but it also rules your relationships, partnerships and significant connections, contracts and commitments that you are, really sort of in, maybe not indebted to, but definitely committed or tied to. Now, Venus as the planet of pleasure and love and harmony and diplomacy, luxury, gifts, talents, is going retrograde, right? Now, this only happens once every 19 months, so it's not like super rare, but it is happening in your sign, right? And so this is a Venus in Aries is bold, it's charismatic, and it's actually quite forthright. What we desire, what we go for, is really to the fore. And when it graces your first house, Venus makes you more appealing to others. It brings an attractive quality to your presence. It really is a time for a glow up for you. Now, that being said, this might also, because it's a retrograde, it's not the best time, even though the first house represents you, your outlook, your self-expression, your identity. It's not the best time to chop all your long brown hair off and go blonde, right, with a pixie cut. It's not the time to go and get that tattoo. It's not the time for you to make any permanent alterations to your appearance, because the chances are once Venus goes direct, you're going to be seeing this very, very differently. So just keep that in mind and as a consideration. Now, the other thing with this, because it also rules your relationship house, there are developments in relationships that are likely to come up now. I wouldn't be surprised if you feel like reaching out to an old partner, maybe for closure, right? Maybe for reconnection. Either which way, it's going to be a time that is really fascinating when it comes to love and also when it comes to you and yourself. Outside of relationships, this might be a time where you're rethinking your values. And because this is Venus, the planet of your values and your self-worth and your self-esteem, you could be thinking about and seeing yourself in a very different light to how you did before. This is a change of personal values as it pertains to yourself. Now, during this transit, Venus is going to reverse out of the sign of Aries and come back into the sign of Pisces. So that's something worth sort of noting. For this transit, the retrograde of Venus, you've got the Emperor, that's literally you. You've got the Wheel of Fortune, excuse me, and you also have the Strength card, right? So first things first, what do we see? Those are all three major arcanas, which means that this Venus retrograde is going to be very impactful for you. It could see you in the right place at the right time, and it might see that the opportunities that shape up for you as a result of this could really accelerate you or push you forward in some way, but it's going to require you to really have the guts and the courage to show up in a completely different way. This might feel somewhat disorientating for you because you might think to yourself like, wow, this isn't necessarily something that I held stock or value in before, and suddenly it's something that now really does hold weight and stock and value for me. When it comes to the next transit that I want to explore for you is the Sun in your 12th house is going to conjunct Saturn. This is a Saturn Cazimi, right? So the Sun is going to come into a conjunction with Saturn. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, if ever I forget to give you the dates of a transit or the degrees of a transit, don't panic. You'll always be able to find that stuff in the description box below. But on the 12th of March, I was going to say February then, on the 12th of March, the Sun is going to conjunct Saturn in your 12th house. So this is the ruler of your self-expression. Well, not necessarily self-expression, because the Sun in your chart rules Leo. And the 5th house is self-expression, competitive energies, and it's coming into a conjunction with the ruler of your 10th house of career and your 11th house of friendships and future vision. This conjunction, this connection, this Cazimi is happening in the 12th house. This is a very reflective space, and you might feel the weight of your responsibilities or the realities of your world and your career and your social status, or even any groups that you're attached to. They might start to really weigh on you in some way now. And when it comes to this, like, you've got this in a really nice, harmonious trine to Mars, right? Which at this point is now direct and is actually tracking forward. What I love about this is that emotional stability or emotional fortitude is actually present with this. So it's helping you navigate something that is very 12th house, a self-sabotaging tendency, a bad habit, maybe your sleep pattern, maybe your love and or sex life, or even potentially your financial outlook, because the 12th house can be like big expenses. The 12th house can also be exile, where you have or do feel somewhat sort of isolated or removed from the group, could be highlighted for you at the time. And with that trine from Mars in the 4th house, this is a chance for you to address something on an emotional level that creates either a bad habit or maybe a self-sabotaging tendency. So you're able to get like real illumination on this to remove something from your life that has only held you back. For this, you've got the Star card. The future is really bright if you're willing to do this work. An Aquarius woman may very much help you through this or support you on this journey. The Queen of Swords is usually an air sign woman. Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. She's there with the Star card, which is the Aquarius energy. An Aquarius woman is going to help you with this, right? It may also be that you decide that there's a future that you are ready, willing and able to fight for, quite literally, because you've got this with the Knight of Swords. So not only is there a future here that you're fighting for, there's also forward momentum and progression. There's a chance for you to really get ahead. What I also like about the Knight of Swords is this is interviews. So don't be surprised if you have connections from your past, because the 12th house is the past. Don't be surprised, right? And remember, this Saturn rules your 10th house of career. I would not be surprised if you have interviews or connections with people that you once used to work with, or maybe make connections through friends, or a friend suggests a place of work to you, etc. As if that wasn't enough, on the 18th of the month, the Sun is going to conjunct the North Node. This is a decidedly fateful energy, right? The North Node is a point of destiny. It's an insatiable drive or hunger that we have to go in that direction. In the sign of Pisces, it's a spiritual direction, but it's also a deep yearning of your heart, or in your case, because it's the 12th house, your psyche or your soul. Now, you add to that then that the Sun rules the 5th house of self-expression. You might experience a deep soul yearning to truly be understood and express yourself in a way that sees somebody reaching to, like, within to your soul almost. The Sun is your vitality. It symbolizes your soul, and it creates this incredible drive towards something that really is meaningful for you. Old memories could come up at this time. You know, feelings that you've buried could come to the surface at this time. I wouldn't be surprised if you're dreaming of loved ones that are no longer with us. Maybe as well, you're feeling almost like guided to talk about secret desires of your heart that you haven't expressed to anybody, right? That you've never spoken aloud into the daylight. And even still, this could be an incredible time to do so. This is also a really wonderful time to do some kind of ancestor work or communion. If you've got loved ones in spirit that you know could help you or give you helpful answers, this is the time to ask, because the 12th house is the connection to the unseen. And this transit is really, it's a beautiful invitation to really align with your destiny of the world in a fated kind of way and on a soul deep level. All right, pay attention to the subtleties, the signs and synchronicities, especially with this activation. Now, as if that wasn't enough, on the 20th, we've got the sun coming into a conjunction with the planet Neptune, right? This Neptune and Sun conjunction, this Neptune Cazimi, which will happen now, I might need to remind you at this point, Mercury should be in here in Aries. Let's do that. What's really important about this transit is it's the last one that we will ever have, right? Certainly in any of our lifetimes, unless we live to be like 150. Now, the reason I say that is because soon, certainly at the end of this month, Neptune's going to move into your sign. And then by the time it goes back into Pisces and the sun travels the zodiac again, Neptune will have entered Aries full time for the next 14 to 15 years. So this is really the last time in our lifetimes that the sun is going to conjunct Neptune in your 12th house. This is a monumental day in that regard, because the sun conjunct Neptune in Pisces in your 12th. This is going to be a time where, and at this time as well, Venus, Mercury, right, the sun, the North Node and Saturn are all going to be in this sign, in that 12th house. This is like your karma and your spiritual self and your soul and your psyche being illuminated in a way that they never have before. This house rules mental health, spirituality, psychic abilities, and you might feel overwhelmed and heightened by the level of sensitivity that you've had, that you have at this time. And if you're one of those people that for whatever reason has had to suppress your intuitive gifts, they might really start to explode or burst out of you at this time. Even if you haven't, and you've been working with your intuition all this time, you might feel that this is even still quite an intense sort of boost. Now, this is a reboot moment for humanity in general, but it's a really powerful one for you. It's deeply personal, right? Be mindful of your self-sabotaging tendencies. Pay attention to the messages that are coming through at this time, because this is soul illumination that comes in that really helps you understand where you can be your most altruistic self, and more importantly, what your soul's mission actually is, right? And I don't say that lightly. For this, you've got the Seven of Swords, so watch out, because Neptune has a deceptive quality to it as well, and the 12th house can be things that happen behind our back. You've got this with the Five of Swords, okay, and this with the Death card, right? So it's possible that something could come to light under this transit or is revealed to you at this time, even though it's a Neptune Cazimi, because there's such a concentration in the 12th. This is like your enemies have nowhere to hide. People that have been considered hidden enemies to you, they've got nowhere to hide. There's no shelter or shade for them to kind of crawl under. There's no rock for them to hide under, right? It's all very much up and out there in the open in some regard. So really powerful. And this could also, the Five of Swords with the Death card, this could be where you say, right, you know what, now that I see you, or now that I understand you to be as you are, which is, either not in your integrity or not the person that you pretend to be, we're done, right? I'm cutting that off. I'm cutting it out. Okay. And then finally, on the 31st of the month, Neptune will enter Aries. Now, none of us certainly nobody that we know has seen this transit in our lifetimes. So yes, we can take professional guesses, but we're not going to know until it actually happens, right? Now, Neptune coming into your first house on the ascendant, this is going to, it's going to see a very different world socially, spiritually, technologically. We're in uncharted territory. For you personally, this transit might cool off some of your fiery energy and bring like a deeply spiritualizing energy into your world. It may be that your energy levels start to shift, aligning more with what resonates with your spirit. So and things that don't feel like that they're draining you. And so one of the things that I want you to be really clear on here, when Neptune enters your first house, it's not the worst thing ever. What it is trying to show you is when your energy feels like it's being drained or it's depleted, that's your soul telling you there's nothing in this direction for you. Leave it alone. Right? Your soul will be telling you where to spend your energy. And Neptune in the first house, it can leech the energy unless it's focused where it needs to be. Marilyn Monroe had Neptune on the ascendant, which brought incredible fame, lasting legacy, and also on the other hand of it, the other side of it, it allowed people to project their desires onto her. So be mindful over this time, right, of retaining your true identity and not losing yourself in other people's expectations. This is a time for you to really honor your spiritual self, to embrace your newfound heightened intuition. And if you've been with me long enough, you know I've said for a very long time, Aries is naturally a very psychic, intuitive sign. It rules the head, right? And all intuition is either gut or brain stuff. And did you know that there are brain cells in your gut and vice versa? So go easy on yourself at this time, right? You're only getting a taste of it this year as well. It won't come in full time until 2026. For this, you got the Ace of Swords, so the Sword of Truth, with the Knight of Cups and the Page of Wands. At this time, this Neptune moving into your first house, there will be an offer that is presented to you. And it will come with potentially a lot of fanfare, maybe a lot of interaction, maybe a lot of, really great or nice energy. And it's really down to you as to whether you are going to take this or not. And you're being asked to use your discernment with that Ace of Swords, to use this new keen intuition, to know whether this is a path that you are willing to walk down or is actually going to be good for you in some regard. Okay, so with that said, I do want to remind you that the wait list for my tarot course will be open very soon. You're going to be hearing all about this. That's what we're doing in March. We start tarot level 1. So if you've ever wanted to study tarot with me, this is your chance to do so. You are going to be seeing this all over my socials. You're going to be seeing it here on YouTube. And I'm doing something special this time round as well, right? Let's say, for argument's sake, that you are not able to spend 12 weeks with me. You're not able to show up for a live class every week on a Sunday due to time constraints, having children, all the rest of it. Well, I have gone one better. I'm not just launching my Tarot Level 1 live course, I'm also launching a Teach Yourself Tarot course. It's the same course without the live component, where you can study in your own time at your own leisure. I've never offered this before, and I'm so excited to bring it to you because so many of you have asked me, will you ever do something like this? And in true Rafi fashion, I am here to deliver what it is that you have asked for. So as I say, you can study with me, where you get 12 weeks live plus loads of bonus goodies, or you can study in your own time, where you'll still get lots of bonus goodies. You just won't have that live component. All right. With that said, let's get into your lunations. So I'm going to give these a shuffle. On the 14th of the month, we have a South Node eclipse in the sign of Virgo, right? So I'm going to put that there to show that it's a South Node eclipse. This is a full moon lunar eclipse, and this is a full eclipse, right? In your 6th house of your health, your daily routines, your physical health and vitality. It's also the house of service. Without your health, what do you have? This eclipse is really highlighting, it's bringing important insights into how you spend your days, how you look after your body or not, as the case might be, because the 6th, 12th house axis is being lit up and the 12th house is your mental health, and there's such an emphasis on that 12th house. This could be a time where you really start to understand the mind-body connection on a much deeper level. This is a wake-up call, really, Aries, to get really serious about your self-care. If you've been overly self-serving, it's a time to consider where you can genuinely be of service to others. However, on the opposite side of the matter, if you've been too giving and overly, subservient to others, this will be a time to really reflect that. Remember what I said about Neptune moving into the 1st. Now, another way that you could see this is, don't offer your energy where it isn't wanted or appreciated. Focus on acts of service that actually matter to you as well as the other person. For this, you've got the gate 3 and begin. So you might find that this is a time where new health regimes and routines sort of beckon. Very much a case, right? And it may be that this is a tough start, but it is absolutely worth it. And then on the 29th of the month, the sun will then move into Aries, and well, will be in Aries, should I say. And then we've got the new moon, which is the last new moon eclipse in the sign of Aries. This is a partial in the 1st house. This is about you. It's about your body, your outlook, your individuality. It helps bring you into the spotlight in some way, shape or form. And it helps you really align your actions with your personal goals, right? And then for this, you've got the gate 21 and control. And the message behind this card is not to have or to look for or to wield control, but actually to relinquish it to the universe. This 1st house eclipse might see you really tapping into this idea of what it means to truly co-create your destiny with the universe. This is going to be a massive, massive month, especially for you. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a wonderful month of it. I also forgot to say, happy damn birthday to you, Aries. I hope you have a fantastic solar return. Remember to fill the day of your birthday with a little bit of everything that you want the entire year ahead to have in it. With that said, take care, and I'll see you soon.